Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce myself. My name is Takhul Muhtar from 6th semester. I want to present my PowerPoint about test types and standardized testing. I want to explain test types. Before creating a test, we need to define the purpose of the test. The test types help choose the right type of test. There are 5 types required, namely language aptitude test, proficiency test, placement test, diagnostic test, and achievement test. The first is language aptitude test, to measure capacity or general ability to learn a foreign language and ultimate success in that undertaking. A language aptitude test is designed to measure the capacity or general ability to learn a foreign language and ultimate success in that endeavor. Language aptitude tests are rarely used. Report from http://lti.com that presuppose a robust language course in which success is measured by similar processes of imitation, memorization, and puzzle solving. No studies have shown unequivocally that such tests predict communicative success in a language, especially unsupervised language acquisition. Because of this limitation, standardized aptitude tests are rarely used today. The second, proficiency test. To test global competence in a language, then you are in conventional terminology. To test global competence in a language, then in conventional terminology, to test proficiency. As noted in the previous chapter, such tests often have their weakness in content validity, but decades of re-examination of construct validation have brought us closer to building successful communicative proficiency tests. A typical example of a standardized proficiency test is the TOEFL test of English as a foreign language, produced by the Educational Testing Service. The TOEFL consists of sections on listening comprehension, structure, reading comprehension, and writing expression. The main problem in testing proficiency is how language proficiency constructs are specified. The tasks that must be performed by the test maker must be legitimate, such as requesting the use of English in the specified context, creating these tasks and validating them with research is a time-consuming and expensive process. Language teachers would be wise not to create an overall proficiency test on their own. A much more practical method is to choose one of a number of commercially available proficiency tests. The third, placement test. To place a student into a particular level or section of a language curriculum or school. Certain proficiency tests can play a role in the role of placement tests, the purpose of which is to place students into a particular level or part of the curriculum or language school, where students who have more abilities are placed according to their place according to ranking. Example of acceleration class. The ultimate goal of a placement test is, of course, to place the student correctly into the course of our level. Secondary benefits to consider include facial validity, diagnostic information about student performance, and authenticity. The ultimate goal of the placement test is to find a performance-based way to divide students evenly into two halves. This goal may have been easily achieved by providing a printable multiple choice grammar vocabulary test with a simple grade. The fourth, diagnostic test. To diagnose specified aspects of a language, diagnostic tests are designed to diagnose certain aspects of a language. Writing diagnostics will obtain writing samples from students, allowing the teacher to identify the rhetorical and linguistic features needed to focus particular attention on the course. There is also a fine line of difference between diagnostic tests and general achievement tests. Achievement tests analyze the extent to which students have acquired the language features that have been taught. Diagnostic tests should obtain information about what students need to work on the future. Therefore, diagnostic tests will usually offer more detailed subcategory information about the learner. Test takers were directed to read sections of 150 words as they were recorded. The test administrator then refers to the inventory of phonological items to analyze student production. The fifth, achievement test. This test is related directly to classroom lessons, units, or even a total curriculum. Tes ini terkait langsung dengan pelajaran kelas, unit, atau bahkan kurikulum total. An achievement test is a test of developed skill or knowledge. The most common type of achievement test is a standardized test developed to measure skills and knowledge learned in a given grade level, usually through plain instructions, such as training or classroom instruction. Tes prestasi adalah tes keterampilan atau pengetahuan yang dikembangkan. Jenis tes prestasi yang paling umum adalah tes standar yang dikembangkan untuk mengukur keterampilan dan pengetahuan yang dipelajari di tingkat kelas tertentu, biasanya melalui instruksi yang direncanakan, seperti pelatihan atau pengajaran di kelas. Juga mengevaluasi siswa mengetahui sejauh mana pemahaman tentang suatu mata pelajaran. The next presentation are scoring, grading, and giving feedback. Scoring. Your scoring plan reflects the relative weight that you place on each section and items in each section. When designing classroom tests, we must consider how the test will be graded. The assessment plan reflects the relative weight placed on each section. The integrated skills class that has been used as an example focus on listening and speaking skills with some attention to reading and writing. 3 of your 9 goals target reading and writing skills. How to assign ratings to the various components of this test. Science oral production is the driving force in the overall goal. Decided to give more weight to the speaking section or oral interview than the other 3 sections. 5 minutes is actually a long time to spend in a one-on-one situation with a student, and some important information can be drawn from such a session. Therefore, you assign 40% of the score to the oral interview. You consider the listening and reading sections to be equally important, but each of them, especially in this multiple choice format, has less consequence than an oral interview. So you give each of them 20% weight. It scores 20% for the writing section, which seems appropriate for you given the time and focus on writing in this unit of the course. Your next task is to assign a score to each item. It may require a bit of numerical common sense, but it doesn't require a degree in math. To make things easier, you decide to do a 100-point test here. Grading. Assessment is the process of embedding attributes or dimensions or quantities in the form of numbers or letters to the results of the assessment by comparing them to certain standard instrument. The results of the assessment in the form of attributes or dimensions or quantities are used as evaluation materials. Penilaian atau grading adalah proses penyematan atribut atau dimensi atau kuantitas dalam bentuk angka atau huruf dengan hasil penilaian dan membandingkannya dengan instrumen standar tertentu. Hasil penilaian berupa atribut atau dimensi atau kuantitas digunakan sebagai bahan evaluasi. Giving feedback. A section on scoring and grading will not be complete without some consideration of the forms in which you will offer feedback to your students. Feedback that you want to become beneficial washback. The next presentation is standardized testing. A standardized test proposes certain standard objectives or criteria that are held constant across one form of the test to another. Sebuah tes standar adalah tes yang diberikan dan dinilai dengan cara yang konsisten atau standar. Tes standar dirancang sedemikian rupa sehingga pertanyaan dan interpretasinya konsisten dan diberikan serta diberi skor dengan cara standar yang telah ditentukan sebelumnya, seperti ujian nasional. That's all my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for watching. See you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.